Hey everybody, I'm Jesse.
And I'm Addie.
And we just got back from watching Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. This movie follows the same cast that we saw from Afterlife in a more like they're officially Ghostbusters now. Like the whole family
Yeah, they've
is a
accepted their
family of
fate.
Ghostbusters and they're doing the thing. It's kind of very similar to how Jurassic World followed in the exact same footsteps, like almost step by step in Jurassic Park. This Afterlife was basically like Ghostbusters 1, and this is basically like Ghostbusters 2, like the OGs. So, very similar in that sense. They follow the same formula of the build up to the end and fighting the big bad. So that felt very familiar, but there was still something that didn't feel quite ghostbustery about the movie. I really couldn't put my finger on it, my nose on it. I don't know. I couldn't pinpoint it out, but something about it doesn't feel quite ghostbustery.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it clearly doesn't have the nostalgic effect as like the original movies did. But I think for me it was the villain that made it, or the villain, the big bad that made it seem not ghostbustery. I can't quite remember what the villains in the other movies are at this specific second, but it felt more non-ghost related, which is weird considering this is a ghost movie. So it was weird that the villain wasn't very ghost related in my opinion, and that made it detracted from the ghostbustery vibes.
Yeah, I guess for me it was kind of like just the art direction of the villain himself
Big
felt
word.
very uh I don't know, it felt kind of out of place for Ghostbusters.
That's too modern.
And the whole well, not even modern, also like the whole Frozen aspect of it. But that's digging too much deep into it. It's not bad. It's nice that they tried something different. We haven't seen something like this, and every Ghostbusters is just regular old New York or Manhattan, wherever they're located, and there's ghosts. So it was nice for them to try this different thing about like he has these ice powers. So that was interesting. But on that note of him kind of working, kind of not working, another thing that was on that like teeter tottering was the chemistry this time around with the cast. I felt like it really worked the first time.
Yeah.
And then in this movie, it was just okay. Like there was moments where it felt like it was just really forced. Like there was Paul Rudd has some good comedic timing sometimes, especially in the first film. I thought he was really good, and this one, his jokes were falling kind of flat. I don't know if it was the writing or if it was him, but they were just not hitting for me. I felt like it could have really been funnier. And then you've also got Stuber. I keep forgetting his name, but we just also watched
his
him like
real name's Camille
Nanjiani or something like that.
Yes.
I'm probably slaughtering his name, but we all know who he is. He's a hilarious guy. I love him and everything he's in, basically. And in this movie, he had some funny moments, but I wish he could have been used a little bit more and been a little bit more funny. Had a bit more of a character arc. It just went from like, I don't know what I'm doing to I got this.
Yeah. So I think for me he was only funny because I've known his previous work, but if this was the first time I saw him, I would be like, okay, weirdo. Like he wasn't that funny. He wasn't a comedic actor. But what I was gonna say, when you were talking about the chemistry not being right, I think what made the chemistry wonky is that the adults were involved this time, whereas in the previous film it was mainly focused on the kids. So it was like the brother and the sister trying to figure out this like family history type of thing. But in this one, the adults are more involved. So like the mom's more involved, and Paul Rudd has stepped into the stepdad slash dad role. So he's trying to be more of a hard
father figure.
Oh, father figure. Yeah, like he has like at least 2 or 3 conversations with the mom of being like, am I allowed to ground the kids? Like, am I allowed to be more strict?
Yeah.
So he's no longer like the fun adult. Now he's like a parental figure. So I think them being more involved took the chemistry away because they're trying to be adult parents to rambunctious kids. I also thought they made Finn's character, I forgot his real name in the movie. They made him.
Is that not? Oh, his name is. I was about to say his real name is Finn.
No, they made him like insufferable. Like he was so annoying. R.I.P. Poor kid. But yeah, they made him super annoying, and then they focused a lot on Phoebe, McKenna Grace's character, and she was kind of just like sad and depressing the most of the film, and that has repercussions, but it just didn't feel like a fun kid movie. All the kids were experiencing emotions.
True, yeah, with the focus being on her and her character being like this really dull, quiet girl.
With a good reason, but still, like, they couldn't have made a different scenario for her or something.
Yeah, there was something that it wasn't mixing right. The ingredients were there, but it just wasn't working well together. But yeah, on the note about characters, though, it was nice to always it's nice to always see them make their cameos. You know, we've got Dan Aykroyd back. We've got I forgot his name, but we've Bill Murray, and then the third Ghostbuster.
Henson, something like that. Was something with an H.
I literally said his name in the car earlier.
You did.
We all know who he is, but it's nice to see them back in their roles. I wish they would have been Dan Aykroyd. We know from the first movie, he owns like a little shop, and then now he does like a little podcast kind of thing going on. The other guy's like a philanthropist, and he like basically bankrolls the entire thing. But Bill Murray is kind of he's just there.
He's hanging out. He's the actual cameo.
He's the actual. He just like sprinkled in.
Yeah, the other two guys had like a more in-depth role. They had more screen time.
Regardless, it's fun to see them. Nostalgia. I mean, people say like, "Oh, we've had enough of like reboots and remakes and everything," but nostalgia hits me, so it's nice seeing them on screen still and doing their thing. We were mentioning earlier, it does feel like they're kind of useless the entire movie.
Yeah.
They're not really contributing much per se.
Which I think it's as intended, because
it's not their show.
It shows a clear passing of the baton distinction to like the new cast, and like that's the main group that you're going to see from now on. So they're kind of just like,
they're there to support
in the background. Yeah,
but we also get nostalgic locations and other minor characters. We get Slimer, as we do in every iteration of this film.
Is that the green thing?
Yeah.
I don't like him.
I do like that they keep him since the very beginning. He's been not an animatronic, but I think he's a suit. So like those hands are real, and then the body is this on somebody, and then like their head and legs gets comped out. So that's like nice. He's been what's it called? Damn, all the words are escaping me. But like he's an actual real life costume. And so it's cool to see that touch still there. Like they haven't made him see like full CG. I think they made him full CG for the 2016 one with Melissa McCarthy. But it's a nice little touch. I like it. A nice little bit of nostalgia here and there.
So ugly. I don't like it. My favorite thing are the little marshmallow
guys. Love that.
They're adorable every time.
One of the biggest redeeming factors of this new trilogy. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a third part. That they keep bringing them back. They introduced them and they keep bringing them back. It's the most adorable and funny thing.
So unhinged.
They are an eyesore because they're kind of either right off the bat CGI, but they're too cute.
I think they're adorable.
Too hilarious.
Yeah.
Their
little face expressions.
Yeah,
so cute.
They're the best. They're the best. They're a very redeeming
factor.
They're
the comedic relief.
All right, I think we're all set now to talk about actual scores. I'll let you go first because I saw that you posted your score already.
Did you already look at it?
Well, yes, but I haven't made up my mind yet. I need a little bit of time to think about it, so I'll let you go ahead.
I forgot to post the last two movies we watched, so I was like, I'll need to get this one now.
You need to get on it.
I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I thought the storyline could have been better with this weird villain that didn't feel ghosty at all. There was also the random introduction of Camille's character that I saw how they got there, but he could have just not have been part of the story at all. And then points off for chemistry, not like vibing this movie. But I enjoyed it. It was still fun to see them, like go through like the thought process of like trying to figure out why the villain is here. And it was also cool to see the like, I don't know if it's a spoiler, I don't think it will be, but the new like upgrades that the philanthropist Ghostbuster guy has made.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. Like they finally get some like new tech.
Solidifies the fact they're like there to stay, I guess.
Yeah.
On that point about like too many like how they got there with Camille's character, like it makes me think about how this movie like kind of suffers from having too many protagonists per se.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you're juggling too many people who are at the front.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not everybody can be a leading character.
Yeah.
So there's too many. But yeah, my score will probably be, I think I'm gonna land with like a ugh. I think I'm gonna have to copy you and say 6, just because like
agree.
It's not like halfway for me. It's a little bit. It's still enjoyable. It's not a bad film, but it's missing some things. You know, some of the redeeming factors are like the little marshmallow guys. There are some parts that are funny, but it's also some of the things that I dock it down for. There's some like jokes on there that are meant to be quite funny, but I don't know if it's like the timing, the delivery, and they just weren't funny. Like the cop buddies that popped up a couple times.
Yeah, that was random.
They could have been funny, but it wasn't, and there was just things that just weren't hitting for me. Also, like I mentioned earlier, like the design language of the villain himself. Again, I appreciate that they're going in a different direction and they're trying something new, but it just didn't feel Ghostbustery for me. And yeah, so like it was a lot of a mixed bag, but not terrible, but just a little bit better than like so. So I'm gonna go with a 6 for that.
Wow, we finally agree on a movie.
But yeah, because I feel like a 7 is still a little too generous.
Yeah.
So I think 6 is just right because it's like I didn't hate it to say it's so.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel neutral about it. I still enjoyed it, the nostalgia and everything, but it wasn't all there. So, but yeah, that's it. But yeah, if you check out Ghostbusters this week and come back here and let us know what you thought in the comments below. Till next time.